In the Skylanders franchise, there are overall 156 Skylanders known to man. With every creative, original, and unique Skylander, there's always bound to be one Skylander that doesn't fit in with the crowd, Skylanders that just make you frustrated and annoyed. Join me as we talk about my top 10 least favorite Skylanders. Before we get into the video, I must say one thing. This is my personal opinion. So in case your favorite Skylander of all time is on this list, please don't be mad, as this is from my personal experiences playing with Skylanders games. Just to tell you, this is coming from a guy who personally likes Wrecking Ball. That's just how silly my opinions are going to be. Also, keep in mind that I actually haven't upgraded all of these Skylanders, so maybe one time I might do a series where we play as all of these 10 least favorite Skylanders and see whether they have been improved or whether they still suck. Anyways, let's get on to the video. The only reason why Wanado is number 10 on this list and not higher is because he's the only character on this list that I actually like. He is fun to play with, but his moves don't do a lot of damage at all. And his speed moves, they are pretty speedy, but you might end up getting hurt in the process. Luckily, he was buffed up in Swap Force, so there's that. By no means do I think Countdown is a bad Skylander. In fact, I think he's a good one. The only thing is that I get incredibly bored of his moveset after a while. All he does is he removes his head to kill enemies, shoot rockets, shoot mini rockets, and yeah, that's about it. I have a bone to pick. Skylanders Trap Team is home to some of my favorite Skylanders, not limited to Gusto, Night's Light, and Snapshot. But if you've seen the latest episode of Code First Impressions, you'll know how much I disfavor this guy. While his frisbee is pretty powerful from the start, it is slow to reload, which means he can be easily overwhelmed by enemies. His second attack doesn't do much other than being a suicide move, and when I purchased his third attack, I was largely disappointed because it can easily be damaged, and it does do damage, but like, it's easy to be destroyed. So that's why I don't like Funny Bone. Very cool. Looking past her uninspired design, Chill has actually quite a unique game mechanic, so that's why she's not higher. But why is she in my top 10 worst? Well, here's the thing. When she summons her ice blocks, and when she pushes it with her shield, it's so clunky, and it doesn't work. And the rest of her moveset is just really basic. It's only been improved by the Water Imaginators, which is embarrassing to say the least. Now we're getting to the terrible Skylanders, and yes, I personally think that Shroomboom is bad. Other than having a cute design, there's nothing really much going for his moveset. He can sling himself and sling his mushrooms. The only one I use is where he can shield himself and then explode the barrier, because that's all I ever use when I play as Shroomboom. The Swappers are my least favorite group in Skylanders. I mean, there's only 3 Swappers I like, and that's Blast Zone, Trap Shadow, and Griller Driller. Freeze Blade, all he does is that he skates lightly and slap people with a frisbee. Why is that necessary? Also, his third attack doesn't even do much, so that's why he's on this list. And speaking of swappers, in my opinion, Washbuckler is seriously overrated. He's a terrible representation of a swap force in my opinion. His sword doesn't even do much, and his second attack is only good for speedrunning. Speedrunning of all things. And I'm not a speedrunner. The only thing Sparrow has to offer is his personality. That's literally it. His other attacks don't do much at all. His fireballs are weak, and if he gets his upgrades, it can improve him a little, but not much. His ram move is a suicide move, and his third move, guess what it is? Flying. Flying of all things. Only good with traversing water. Useless with anything else. They could have made him a lot better, but they didn't.
Fixes in.
The tech element is my favorite element because it mainly has really great Skylanders. Trigger Happy, Drill Sergeant, Strobot, but then we have Sprocket. And Sprocket, I call her the outlier of tech because she doesn't even fit in what a tech Skylander should be. Powerful. The only one move that I use is her wrench, but that's about it. Her landmines are good for close range, but I doubt you're even going to be in close range in the main mission. And his tanks and turrets, they take forever to build. Sprocket is easily everybody's least favorite. Surprisingly enough, I actually used to like Slobber Tooth, but it's only when I replayed Swap Force that I see his true colors. He was awful. I mean, the only use I use is when I eat the enemy and then spit them out. That is how to have success with Slobber Tooth. And it's boring as hell. I mean, I want a Skylander who all three moves are unique at their own right. But the only time I see myself use the other moves is when I fight against other enemies. Slobber Tooth is just an incredibly boring Skylander, and that's why it's at number 1. But hey, at least Activision improved its design with a thought of this dark variant. And that was my top 10 least favorite Skylanders. What are your top 10 least favorite Skylanders? I'm open to any opinions. Even if you put Drill Sergeant at number 1 on your list, I am cool with it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.